The James Bond series focuses on the titular character, a fictional British Secret Service agent created in 1953 by writer Ian Fleming, who featured him in 12 novels and 2 short story collections. Since Fleming's death in 1964, 8 other authors have written authorized Bond novels or novelisations: Kingsley Amis, Christopher Wood, John Gardner, Raymond Benson, Sebastian Faulks, Jeffery Deaver, William Boyd, and Anthony Horowitz. The latest novel is With a Mind to Kill by Anthony Horowitz, published in May 2022. Additionally, Charlie Higson wrote a series on a young James Bond, and Kate Westbrook wrote 3 novels based on the diaries of a recurring series character, Moneypenny. The character, also known by the code number 007, pronounced 007, has also been adapted for television, radio, comic strip, video games, and film. The films are one of the longest continually running film series and have grossed over $7.04 billion in total at the box office, making it the 5th highest grossing film series to date, which started in 1962 with Dr. No, starring Sean Connery as Bond. As of 2021, there have been 25 films in the Ian production series. The most recent Bond film, No Time to Die, 2021, stars Daniel Craig in his 5th portrayal of Bond. He is the 6th actor to play Bond in the Ian series. There have also been 2 independent Bond film productions: Casino Royale, a 1967 spoof starring David Niven, and Never Say Never Again, a 1983 remake of an earlier Eon-produced film, 1965's Thunderball, both starring Connery. The James Bond franchise is one of the highest-grossing media franchises of all time. Casino Royale has also been adapted for television as a 1-hour show in 1954 as part of the CBS series Climax. The Bond films are renowned for a number of features, including their soundtracks, with the theme songs having received Academy Award nominations on several occasions and 3 wins. Other important elements which run through most of the films include Bond's cars, his guns, and the gadgets with which he is supplied by Q Branch. The films are also noted for Bond's relationships with various women, who are popularly referred to as Bond girls. For the first 5 novels, Fleming armed Bond with a Beretta 418 until he received a letter from a 31-year-old Bond enthusiast and gun expert, Jeffrey Boothroyd, criticizing Fleming's choice of firearm for Bond, calling it a lady's gun, and not a very nice lady at that. Boothroyd suggested that Bond should swap his Beretta for a 7.65mm Walther PPK, and this exchange of arms made it to Dr. No. Boothroyd also gave Fleming advice on the Burns-Martin triple-draw shoulder holster and a number of the weapons used by SMERSH and other villains. In thanks, Fleming gave the MI6 armorer in his novels the name Major Boothroyd and, in Dr. No, M., the chief of the Secret Intelligence Service, introduces him to Bond as the greatest small-arms expert in the world. Bond also used a variety of rifles, including the Savage Model 99 in For Your Eyes Only and a Winchester .308 target rifle in The Living Daylights. Other handguns used by Bond in the Fleming books included the Colt Detective Special and a long-barreled Colt .45 Army Special. The first Bond film, Dr. No, saw M ordering Bond to leave his Beretta behind and take up the Walther PPK, which Bond used in 18 films. In Tomorrow Never Dies and the 2 subsequent films, Bond's main weapon was the Walther P99 semi-automatic pistol. In the early Bond stories, Fleming gave Bond a battleship-gray Bentley 4 plus a half-liter with an Amherst Villiers supercharger. After Bond's car was written off by Hugo Drax in Moonraker, Fleming gave Bond a Mark II Continental Bentley, which he used in the remaining books of the series. During Goldfinger, Bond was issued an Aston Martin DB Mark III with a homing device, which he used to track Goldfinger across France. Bond returned to his Bentley for the subsequent novels. The Bond of the films has driven a number of cars, including the Aston Martin V8 Vantage during the 1980s, the V12 Vanquish and DBS during the 2000s, as well as the Lotus Esprit, the BMW Z3, BMW 750iL, and the BMW Z8. He has, however, also needed to drive a number of other vehicles, ranging from a Citroën 2CV to a Routemaster bus, amongst others. Bond's most famous car is the silver-gray Aston Martin DB5, first seen in Goldfinger. It later featured in Thunderball, GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, Casino Royale, Skyfall, and Spectre. The films have used a number of different Aston Martins for filming and publicity, one of which was sold in January 2006 at an auction in the US for $2.1 million to an unnamed European collector. In 2010, another DB5 used in Goldfinger was sold at auction for $4.6 million, £2.6 million. Fleming's novels and early screen adaptations presented minimal equipment, such as the booby-trapped attaché case in From Russia with Love, although this situation changed dramatically with the films. However, the effects of the two Eon-produced Bond films Dr. No and From Russia with Love had an effect on the novel The Man with the Golden Gun through the increased number of devices used in Fleming's final story. For the film adaptations of Bond, the pre-mission briefing by Q Branch became one of the motifs that ran through the series. Dr. No provided no spy-related gadgets, but a Geiger counter was used. Industrial designer Andy Davey observed that the first ever on-screen spy gadget was the attaché case shown in From Russia with Love, which he described as a classic 007 product. The gadgets assumed a higher profile in the 1964 film Goldfinger. The film's success encouraged further espionage equipment from Q Branch to be supplied to Bond, although the increased use of technology led to an accusation that Bond was over-reliant on equipment, particularly in the later films. Davey noted that Bond's gizmos follow the zeitgeist more closely than any other nuance in the films, as they moved from the potential representations of the future in the early films through to the brand-name obsessions of the later films. It is also noticeable that, although Bond uses a number of pieces of equipment from Q Branch, including the Little Nelly autogyro, a jetpack, and the exploding attaché case, the villains are also well-equipped with custom-made devices, including Scaramanga's golden gun, Rosa Kleb's poison-tipped shoes, Oddjob's steel-rimmed bowler hat, and Blofeld's communication devices in his agent's vanity case.